A simple experiment will show how direct sunlight or rainfall will affect temperature reading. You can do this with a simple liquid and glass model. Because what we are really interested in is measuring air temperature, thermometers need to be protected from direct sunlight and rain. How to do this depends on what type of thermometer you have on your own budget. Preferably a radiation shield, also known as radiation screen, or an instrument shelter, should be used. But if a radiation shield or instrument shelter is a little out of your comfort zone or budget, we will also give you some hints to make your temperature measurements as accurate as possible without one. But first, let's talk about the radiation shields and thermometer types. There are essentially three types of thermometers available on the market. 1. Electronic thermometers are a part of a fully automated weather station. 2. A compact electronic weather station with sensors that report to an indoor digital readout. And 3. Traditional liquid and glass thermometers. Let's explore each of these in a little more detail. Electronic thermometers that are part of a fully automated weather station. Thermometers and other sensors measure continuously and the data is recorded. All weather sensors are wired into a data logger that records measurements and sends the data back to a base computer. The top-of-the-line versions of these stations are very versatile. Many different sensors can be installed and wired into the data logger. They are also very expensive, in the tens of thousands of dollars. However, companies like Davis Instruments offer very affordable, under $500, versions of these that are not as versatile but fully automated, which means no human observers are needed. Furthermore, recording data is possible. Thermometers in this case are usually referred to as temperature sensors or temperature probes, are housed in a so-called radiation shield. Most Davis Instrument weather stations ship with a radiation shield. Compact electronic weather stations with sensors that report to an indoor digital readout. Temperature is measured continuously, but data is not recorded. These instruments are available for less than $100. Such simple weather stations do not ship with radiation shields, but you can purchase an instrument shelter at Ben Meadows. Prices range from around $100 to $1,000, or make one yourself. Louvered sides allow free flow of the wind and protect rain from coming in. White paint also reflects the sunlight, but you do need to keep it clean and free from algae and insects nesting. Here are some recommendations on where to put your thermometer. Thermometers should be mounted between 4 and 6.5 feet above the ground. The ground cover under the screen should be grass or in places where grass does not grow, the natural surface of the area. The best site for these thermometers is over level ground, freely exposed to sunshine and wind and not shielded by or close to trees, buildings, and other obstructions. These inhibit airflow and can radiate heat to the thermometers. Thermometers should not touch the walls of the screen or their mounting fixtures directly. You could hang your thermometer casing on a hook or a nail. The best material to use for radiation shields or shelters is thermally insulating plastic-based material because it's easiest to maintain. However, wood is okay as long as it is cleaned and painted on a regular basis. In many places, repainting the screen once every 2 years is sufficient, but in areas subject to atmospheric pollution, it may be necessary to repaint your screen at least once a year. The screen should be painted both inside and outside with white, non-hygroscopic paint that does not absorb moisture from the air. If an instrument shelter is outside your budget, you have no room for one, or you're simply not interested in temperature readings that are that accurate, you can still make good measurements using a simple liquid and gas thermometer without a shield. Just make sure you place your thermometer under an awning or a roof overhanging to protect it from the rain. Choose a north-facing side of the structure if possible so that the sun does not directly hit the thermometer. Otherwise, just beware that readings during direct exposure to the sun are unreliable. Find a spot where the airflow is unrestricted and make sure there are no AC units, vents, barbecue grills, chimneys, or other heat sources nearby.